I think the Bears are ready to go. I mean, I know everybody's excited about Rome coming back. Dunze, obviously there's only one football. Who you going to get the football to? So I'll be real curious to see how Ben Johnson game plans this. Who's going to be his? Who's going to be the featured guy in the passing game? And obviously we know what's going to happen in the running game. And then on the defensive side, I think the thing that everybody should be watching is, we did a little bit more pressure blitz in the first game. Didn't turn out real well. We gave up a couple 40-yard passes. The second game, we did not. We played more, a little bit too deep, some one deep zone, and got good, better results. So, how much we pressure Green Bay will be the other thing, I think, to keep an eye on as this game unfolds.
So you talked about Rome being back. What would you do if you had a limited Kyler Gordon? How would you pick and choose how to use him?
Wow, that's a tough one. It's really good timing because CJ's out, right? So he's banged up. So it's perfect timing. It's not like you're sitting somebody on the bench. I would have, anytime a player comes back off an injury, and I would say this same thing about Rome Odunze. There's a different speed playing in a game than there is in practice. And so I would always, in the back of my mind, have, okay, let's say Gordon doesn't hold up. Who's going to take his place? And does that person, if they start him, who's going to take his place? And does that person get enough practice during the week? And same thing with Rome. I mean, you get 2 or 3 plays that you really think Rome could make an impact, and then all of a sudden, his foot flares up again and he can't play. Now, can the next guy do those plays, or do you just scratch him? That's what Ben's going through, and Dennis Allen with Gordon. It's I don't know. Is Gordon going to start, or is he just going to be ready to play? And I would say the same thing with Odunze. Is he going to start, or the rotating? The receivers is a little bit easier, I think, at this point because they're all healthy.
Yeah, I mean, the rotating of defensive backs is like not something that's usually done. We look at snap counts every week, Coach, and usually we see guys, well, look, they all played 100 or 100%, or some of those guys played 95%. And then there's a couple for the nickel. But really, since Jalen's come back, it's been all over the place. And without Kyler, it's been a lot of CJ, but now no CJ. So, look, is it feasible for, to have 6 guys at 5 spots and rotate around, or like 7 guys at 5 spots and really rotate if Kyler can't go? Maybe Tyreek gets in and plays a little, Is that even feasible to think about it like that?
Well, it depends on 2 things. Number one, if he's playing just third down, what are you going to have third down plays? Probably at the most 15. Somewhere around 12 to 15 plays.
That's interesting.
So you say, okay, he can handle that. But if they are going to match up whenever Green Bay puts 3 receivers in there, then we're going to go to nickel automatically and match up with them with an extra DB, take a linebacker out. Now that may be the whole game. I mean, that could be 50 or 60 plays, So that's going to be the thing that that we don't know. We don't know what Green Bay is going to do. Is it going to be just third down, or is it going to be the whole game as far as their personnel matching up with them? That will be the question mark.
That's a really great detail that only like a defensive coordinator might think about and give to us. Maybe you limit Kyler by having him be your third down guy. If you got to go nickel in the first 2 downs, Coach, you go Nick McLeod, who has been your backup nickel. You could do it that way if you want, right?
Yeah, and I got a feeling that, we got to keep in mind, and I may have talked about this on the show a couple of weeks ago, when Matt LaFleur, when they had one of the best offenses in the league with Aaron Rodgers and Aaron Jones, they were in the top 5 running offenses in the NFL. People lose sight of that. And then Aaron was doing his rollout, his play action passes, and here we go. So I bring that up because it's not out of character for Matt LaFleur at Green Bay to line up and say, you know what? We're going to try to take the air out of the football and see if the Bears can stop our running game. Jacobs is healthy now. The backup played good, Wilson, and he's ready to go. And that will set up some play action pass for us and limit the number of opportunities that Caleb and the offense get. So I do think that that's something. So if that's the case, then you want a nickel back in there that's ready to support the run, because they can go 3 wide receivers and run the ball, try to spread us out, which is probably what they'll do. So we got to be ready with our matchup things. Yeah, you're saying, okay, we're putting a nickel in there to match up with their receiver. But if they're handing the ball off, that nickel back has to be responsible for a run support. So that's what you're into there as far as who the guy is.
Well, the good thing is that we know when healthy, Kyler Gordon is all about coming up and run support. And if he's out there, I agree with you, Coach. They'll try to match it up and see if they can push him around or run him around. I hope that he's up for the challenge, because they could really use him being good on Saturday.
Yeah, it's been tough on as good a player and as many impact plays as CJ has made. He's had some rough matchups in there at the slot. How about last week with St. Brown, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, with all of them, St. Brown and Raymond and Williams and all of them. Coach, we've been talking a lot about TJ Edwards. Could we see DeMarco Jackson? Would you consider DeMarco Jackson either instead of TJ or to spell him a little bit as a backup green dot just to get him on the field? Or maybe he'll be the third backer, which he was last week when they used 3 backers in very rare situations.
Yeah, I would not take and I'm seeing what you're seeing. I'm feeling exactly what you're feeling with TJ, but I would not take him out of the game in this game. I would have him on the field. I think he brings, obviously plays as a player, but also that leadership. And the guy's been, on some pretty good teams up there in Philadelphia. Let's not lose sight of that. So I like his leadership. I think there's a lot of value in that. And you know what? You brought up him. That's an interesting thing. Do we all remember when he was hurt with the hamstring, and then he came back and he lasted, it was the first quarter. Remember, and he was chasing a long play. I forget who it was. And all of a sudden the hamstring went and he limped off the field. So that's an example of what you got to be careful of with Gordon and Rome Odunze. A starter that was hurt. Starter is back. Starter re-injures his injury. So that's a good example of that too.
When you look at the Packers defense since they lose Micah, is there anything about what they do that overly concerns you?
No, except they got good players and they want to pressure. They really have good athletes over there. And I think it showed up the last time the Bears played them. Everybody was saying, well, Caleb didn't get out around on the perimeter. I thought Green Bay had a nice plan, but also, man, those linebackers can run. I mean, they're top draft picks. They're good players. The one thing the first thought that comes to mind is Rashad Gary, because after Parsons got hurt, it was obvious, not obvious, but it was the important part of their defense was going to be who's going to get pressure, who is going to rush the passer. And at that time, Gary he was second in sacks. I don't know what it was, 6 or 7. I can't remember.
I think it was 7.5.
But he hasn't done anything since. That's the point. You know what I mean? So if you're Jeff Hafley at Green Bay, I'm talking to these guys saying, hey, somebody's got to beat somebody one-on-one. We don't want to get into a blitzathon with these guys, but we have got to generate some pressure on Williams and not let him get comfortable in the pocket. And somebody's got to win up front. And they're struggling right now. We're struggling, and they're struggling doing the same thing. Very similar.
Dave Wannstedt is with us here on Spiegel and Holmes, and it's always great. We love you, Wani. So, look, I am afraid of Jordan Love against the blitz. I'm afraid of Jordan Love on third down and third and long. I heard Bigsy this morning, the third and long numbers for Jordan Love are outrageously good this year, like quarterback rating above 100 on third and long. Do you attack him? Do you still blitz him, even though he beat it? Do you try to sit back and just beat the hell out of the targets after he throws it? What do you do?
I'd start off by playing some zone and not blitzing them just to get a feel for the game. Let's see how much they're going to run it. Because people lose sight of this now. Everybody says, "Oh, just blitz them." Well, you have passing blitzes and you have run blitzes. But the problem is if everybody saw what happened, if you're in a blitz coverage and somebody gets in the open one-on-one, there's nobody to help. Well, it's the identical thing when you run blitz. And I've had it happen on all levels. Two guys running the same damn gap and they hand the ball off and he hits a crease and there's nobody. I mean, the guy hits his head on the goalpost. So, it's easier said than done. Oh, just blitz them. That'll stop the run. I would go into it myself and just get a feel for what Matt LaFleur's thinking. Is he going to just, normal offense, or is this going to be a heavy run? It could be heavy pass. Let's see what they come out of the box with, and then I'd be ready to adjust. And this late in the season, you got your whole package. The guys know it. You're not going to add much, particularly for this game, playing them, 3 times in 6 weeks or whatever it is. No, less than that, I guess, right? But
36 days, something like that. 36 days, crazy.
In a month, yeah. So, I mean, you're not going to do a whole lot new. So my point is the guy should know what to do versus run blitzes pass. Now it's just a matter of executing it. I would just kind of wait and get a feel for him. Wait and get a feel. Don't give up a big play. Don't get the crowd out of it. Let's be sound here early and get a feel for what they're going to do.
Coach, you've been in these situations as a coordinator. You've been in these situations as a head coach. What's the building like on a playoff week? Like what were you like on playoff weeks?
Well, obviously, I felt pretty fortunate because I had been there and won a Super Bowl and went through it, So I was very confident in the approach that I wanted to take. So it really wasn't. You feel it with the players, okay, particularly the veteran players. And the young guys, it's another game. I mean, anybody that starts, when we went to our first Super Bowl at Dallas, Jimmy Johnson never mentioned Super Bowl until we were on the bus getting ready to fly to L.A. I mean, the whole thing was just win the next game. Guys, we got another game, whoever it is. What do we got to do to win this game on offense, defense, and special teams? So, we never got ahead of ourselves. It was, we only have so much time in the day. Our minds can only handle so much. Let's really be dialed in for this one. Make every play count. Make every play count. I remember talking to our guys about that, hey, you get into playoffs, one fumbled muff punt and they recover it and score could be the difference in you being completely out of the playoffs or not. So that's kind of what you're into there when you get into the playoffs,
Yeah, well, it's great stuff. How about like during the game, if something goes wrong, because Coach, like, we've been talking to some guys, Kurt Warner this week, talking about if something goes wrong, it can like roll over on itself and it can make another thing go wrong and then another thing. So what do you do if something goes wrong, and how do you get your guys to stay level in that time?
Well, when we played the Vikings here, we kind of did what the Bears did. We were kind of a bend but don't break defense. I mean, it was Warren Moon, Chris Carter. They had obviously a great team, and we forced field goals. We forced field goals on them, and then that gave us a chance to win the game. But we were never out of the game. It was always in control of the game for the most part, or close, because of forcing field goals. When we won the division and we were playing the Colts in Miami, okay, the first round of the playoffs, we fell behind by 15 points with Peyton Manning and Edgerrin James and those guys. And we went in the locker room and it was not a pretty locker room. And the guys responded. And we came out, and we didn't throw many passes the second half. We just kind of we went into wishbone mode, and that was the end of it, and beat them. But no, so every game's gonna have ups and downs. You're gonna fall behind in most games, and unfortunately, the Bears have been there. Bears have won 6 games when being behind in the last 2 minutes of the game. That is fabulous. That is unheard of. That's a little bit scary, to be honest with you. But hats off to him. I mean, Caleb Williams has done remarkable.
Yeah. Well, I was going to ask you about that as it pertains to how you feel inside of a game like this. What advice, if any, would you give Caleb as he gets ready for his first playoff game?
Just, I don't think you need to say much to him. You don't need to force anything. You got a lot of talent around you, Caleb. I would say, a lot of, if we call the deep one and you don't like it, take the check down. Take the money. Give your players a chance to make plays. We don't have just one weapon. You could throw the ball to either tight end or all 4 of those receivers or either one of those backs, and they're going to make a big play for you. I would just convince them that, you know what, you got a lot of weapons out there. Make good decisions and take what the defense gives you. Don't force anything.
Coach, you think Ben Johnson will have something new, something fun, something weird? Not necessarily even a trick play, but just maybe something new in the offense. It's the 3rd time, man. Like he's got to have something he's been holding in the back pocket, and is like, I'm going to surprise him. I don't know what it would be. Do you?
Yeah, I don't know what it'll be there, but no, he'll have something new for sure. You study the tape and you come up with ideas for every game. So Ben likes it. He'll do it. I think in this game, and and I don't want this to be interpreted the wrong way. I made the comment early in the week on Mully and them that I think Ben will be aggressive this week because he was playing with house money. Now, house money doesn't mean Ben's not going to do anything stupid, okay? But I do think that he talked for 2 days about regretting not going for it on 4th down. I think now he's in the playoffs. He's at home. I think that he'll be aggressive with his play calling. I truly do. I don't think he's going to sit back and say, I wish I would have dialed that up. I think he's going to dial it up. See if we can make a play.
Yeah, I heard what you said, and I'm glad you get a chance here to kind of paraphrase it if you need to. But Coach, who's got more pressure on him? Like LaFleur and the Packers are supposed. Oh yeah, they're supposed to win this, aren't they?
Absolutely. 100%. Not even close. I mean, they were a Super Bowl pick. When the season started. There's no question who has the most pressure on them. I mean, that's from the head coach. I would say and the quarterback.
Yes.
I mean, that's the guys that you're gonna talk or point to, win, lose, or draw, whether they like it or not. So I would say that Jordan Love, Matt LaFleur got a lot of pressure on you guys. Boy, you got to show up.
Yeah, boy, that'd be fun to see them tighten up, wouldn't it? Lawrence, middle of the game.
That'd be dope.
Come on.
I'd love that.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I don't have any. I think it's going to come down to the end again, somehow, some way. And, and the thing I feel good about is the Bears' ability to close a game. And by that, I mean, you got to lead with 3 minutes to go. Can you run the ball successfully with your running back and quarterback and make 2 first downs and end the game and not give them the ball back? And I feel really good about us being able to do that. I think the best matchup, everybody's going to talk quarterbacks and receivers and on and on. I think the best matchup the Bears got, to be quite honest with you, is our offensive line versus their defensive line. I mean, they got the Wyatt kid out and Parsons. They got 2 of their best defensive linemen out and hurt. So I like our matchup up front on offense.
Kind of a sneaky thing about Rome being back is what he does as a blocker in the run game.
Hadn't even thought about it until you mention it right now. But you're right. He's a terrific blocker in the run game.
Yeah, so is Burden. I mean, I got to see. I almost forget Rome. You know what I mean? Because it's been so long since he's made some plays, and I guess I've kind of I jumped on my man Luther's bandwagon a little bit, but I agree with you. Rome did a great job when he was in there.
Coach, you doing TV tonight? You looking spiffy.
I am. I am at NBC right now, and I am going to jump on there with Jim Miller, Peanut Tillman, and Pat Manley, and we are going to do a 30-minute NBC playoff special. So it's going to be fun.
When's it going to air?
It's live, Coach. You think I dressed and walked the streets of Chicago like this?
I know that
Come
it's.
on.
I know that
Lawrence,
it's live. I want to know
6:30. 6:30.
Thank you, Coach.
No access Hollywood. Okay, so I know you're going to be disappointed, but that's life in the big city. It's playoff time, Lawrence. Okay. So just record it. There you go.
Yeah,
I'll be home in time to watch it live.
I thought Lisa Gibbons was joining you guys.
And then we got to get into some U tonight, guys. Ooh.
Coach, you were dead on about the U last week, man. You were dead on about those guys got some ass kickers up front defensively.
I think it's time for Warren Sapp and Vinny Testaverde to be on that sideline. You watch all the guys will start coming. See, Mario Cristobal played. We recruited him, and he played on that team at the U, so he can say what he wants about convicts and Catholics, but he was a convict too. He can't hide from us. And